Somewhere in the city, a group of Form 4 candidates prepare to sit their history exam. Invigilators frisk the boys to ensure that they leave all unwanted materials outside. Once inside, the students are required to verify that the seal on the bags carrying the question papers has not been broken. And with a word of prayer, the examination begins. The examining body is satisfied that it has thus far done everything in its power to ward off examination irregularities. A section of the candidates in some parts of the country have been up since 3 a.m. revising questions that were sent to them on their mobile phones. Whether these are the very same questions on their examination papers, we are yet to find out. Every day since the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exams began, a section of the country's candidates has taken to rising as early as 2 or 3 in the morning to study. But far from revising everything, they focus only on what they are directed to by short messages sent to their mobile phones. KTN learned that a number of candidates have been receiving what they have been led to believe is examination leakage for a steep fee. On Thursday, candidates were scheduled to sit 2 papers, biology and history. KTN reporters decided to pose as candidates seeking an advantage in the exams. Before 6 in the morning, the biology questions had begun to stream in. Question after question translated into cyber speak in order to make it shorter. A single exam paper reported to have been compressed into a few text messages. In a bid to establish whether there had indeed been examination leakage, we got hold of examination papers in various centers. A comparison of the sets of questions in the biology, English and history papers held up against the text messages would show that they had nothing in common. Those receiving the texts had been duped. Still under the impression that we were impressionable candidates, the source of the text messages would initially attribute the discrepancy to the fact that schools outside the city had such emergency papers. Papers only released when reports of leakage surface. This explanation would, however, fail to hold up in the face of examination papers we secured from other parts of the country, which were identical to those which candidates in the city sought. The Kenya National Examination Council has imposed stiff penalties for examination irregularities intended as deterrents to would-be examination cheats.
The people who lure them will now be liable. So it's not only the candidates that are going to be in trouble, but if you lure a candidate to commit an examination irregularity, then obviously the law says that although the candidates might lose their results because we have lured them, you who has done that as an adult, you're going to be liable.
The papers do not come cheap. Any leak would cost upwards of 3,000 shillings a paper, and it is difficult to tell how many candidates may have fallen for this scam. But with hundreds of thousands of candidates all competing for a few spots in public universities, many would do almost anything to get a head start, paving the way for fraudsters to make a killing. Wilkes Anyabwa, KTN Prime.